Just in the last few days, a powerful solar storm has struck the Earth. Let residents enjoy the beauty of the aurora, even in low-dimensional areas. It also caused a lot of electrical equipment problems. It even affected Elumasco's Ranger satellite system. We went through a similar situation in 1989. A solar storm shut down the power grid in northeastern Canada. In just 90 seconds, 6 million people go from normal life to no electricity. It took 9 hours to redistribute the power. The restoration work took several months, and yet that's not even a big sun to move. In the event of an extreme solar storm, the scale of the problem will be even greater. It is said that the storm a few days ago was the most severe death toll in the past 20 years. But even so, no major damage was caused. But how can we be sure that one day there won't be a super solar storm hitting Earth? It's not just about jamming Musk's satellites in our phones, but directly threaten our lives? Imagine that. One night in the near future, without warning, the light suddenly went out. The sudden electrical endpoint hit the whole country. Air traffic control failure. Hospital launches backup generator. And the sky is decorated with fluorescent auroras. The blackout continues to spread. It looks like this could be a common local power outage. But the hours got longer by days. Power still hasn't been restored. There was no internet, no TV. There's no newspaper to tell you what's going on. Soon the hospital's emergency generators ran out of diesel. The food can't get to the supermarket because there's no electricity. The delivery truck cannot refuel. Why has everything stopped working? The first word came through the ear clasp. It seems that the sun is coming for real this time. At least 2 days.
He has been using it very strongly. The solar storm is attacking us.
So, in a nutshell, the sophisticated technological equipment that underpins our complex civilization, destroyed by countless severe particle storms brought by the solar wind. The energy is equivalent to thousands of atomic bombs. Once again, the plasma jets from the sun. What we're dealing with is completing the journey from the sun to the Earth at nearly 1,000 kilometers per second. 150 million kilometers in just a few days. Then it only took a few seconds to break through the defenses of the Earth's magnetic field, throwing the global power grid into chaos. The threat comes from outer space. In fact, it was our network of artificial satellites that first felt the damaging effects of these charges. So the global positioning system is down. 'Cause ships, cars, and even anti-theft systems fail. This time it also restricts air traffic. Many flights were delayed because planes could not take off safely. Pilots in flight must continue flying without the global positioning system and other instruments. Air routes in the polar regions were closed. The route was diverted, then all the planes were grounded until things got worse. Of course, the TV is off. The phone is also dead. Almost immediately, everybody stops. At least in the apartment building. The pump is electric. Household appliances also stop working. The food in large industrial refrigerators began to rot. And this is all because of powerful induced currents in the energy distribution circuits. 'Cause the transformer to melt? It can't be replaced or repaired at all. Spare parts can't come in. It's impossible to make new ones. Because industrial plants, including oil refineries, have been shut down. But that's not all. Trains and subways are also out of service. It's hard to refuel because there is no electricity to operate the oil pump. Oil and gas pipelines cannot operate because they need electricity. The nuclear power plant has shut down automatically, and a malfunction in the traffic signal system caused the accident. Emergency services are difficult to reach. Because of the interruption of communication between the Infernal Palace, it is difficult for the authorities to inform the public and issue behavioral recommendations. Due to the partial failure of communication channels, some evolution factories are not functioning properly. This results in the release of wastewater and harmful substances into the environment. But the most dangerous substances are brought to us by the wrath of the sun. Solar bees release high-energy particles that generate harmful radiation to humans. Similar to low energy and radiation, Earth's atmosphere and magnetosphere provide adequate protection at ground level. But astronauts in space face potentially lethal doses of ionizing radiation. High-energy particles tonic cells can cause chromosome damage. Health problems such as cancer. High doses can be lethal. A week later, things got worse. Becomes more miserable. Entire categories of patients started dying. So, for example, the ICU and the dialysis unit, which are the most machine-dependent wards, are all empty. Medicines are no longer available. Supermarket shelves are also empty. High-rise buildings are abandoned. Many people fled to the countryside for refuge. Now everything is shipped to order. From medicine to automobiles. From computers to components. Once the delivery network crashes, is total collapse. Nearly a month later, still nothing is working. Heating and air conditioning. ATM, traffic lights, industry, everything still stopped. At the bank, they found that level 10 cash was almost non-existent. They're just numbers on a monitor. And now the monitor is off. No one has access to their savings. A month after the blackout began, the world is collapsing. To deliver a message, radio enthusiasts are back in fashion. Some people manage to power their radios with solar panels. This all seems very impossible to scold. According to the National Academy of Sciences, a report released in the United States in January, it's not impossible. The report states that it will take a long time to return to normal. We're talking about years. Maybe even up to 10 years. The consequences will be serious. The death toll is 300 million. The economic damage is equivalent to dozens of Hurricane Katrina. But how far would a storm of this magnitude hit? For communications and all things satellite-related, the damage will be global. As for the power issue, the affected area will cover the entire continent. Areas of the planet above 45 degrees north latitude and below 45 degrees south latitude will be more at risk. The paradox is that the equator is safer. It's a place where technology is less pervasive, and therefore less fragile. Some people may question, but so far, you only talked about the impact. So what exactly is all this storm made of? There are violent explosions and eruptions on the surface of the sun from time to time, ejecting plasma at hundreds or even thousands of kilometers per second. These jets of mass are accompanied by intense gamma rays, X-rays and ultraviolet light, and the emission of high-energy charged particles. Radioactivity reaches Earth in less than 10 minutes. Cause an increase in electromagnetic radiation, solar storms can weaken Earth's magnetic field. This disturbance triggers geomagnetism and electromagnetism in the Earth's magnetosphere. Storms basically have two phases. In the first direct stage, Eruptions can cause radioactivity in gamma rays, X-ray ultraviolet, proton isoradiation. The storm will reach Earth in 8 to 12 minutes. The second stage occurs 18 to 36 hours later. Earth was hit head-on by a shock wave. The number of particle tumors near the Earth has increased again. Magnetic explosion caused by impact on the Earth's magnetosphere. Then the induced electrical currents from the storm began to cause damage. The dramatic chain of events we describe begins. Why should we be afraid of the possibility of a supersolar storm? After all, so far, we've only experienced interruptions that the elderly can tolerate. Is this just pessimism? Or is there another reason? No. This is only because we know that the Earth has experienced destructive solar worlds. Our luck is just so. Superstorms as we know them happened at a time when our species was not yet dependent on the sophisticated technology we have today. I'll give you two examples. 1859. British astronomer Richard Carrington discovered a link between the occurrence of solar storms and the appearance of auroras. September 1 of the same year, the Earth was hit by the most intense solar storm in history. It's called the Carrington event because it was the scientist himself who first, the next one to be seen in the solar sphere, the patch that would disturb our magnetosphere. The skies over most of the world, even Cuba. Magnificent lasers have appeared over the Bahamas and Hawaii. But 18 hours after the spots were observed, there was also a massive first storm on Earth. The telegraphers were the first to notice the case they were using to tap Morse's electric horse, and they got moving on their own. Release a painful electric shock. There were a lot of fires on a small number of power lines at the time. Wooden telephone poles smoked and collapsed widely. PK hugs in New Orleans. Crowds gather on street corners to watch the aurora. Some people are concerned that this is a coming disaster. Plagues and even omens of the end of the world. In Boston, people thought there was a terrible fire somewhere, but no source of ignition. After dozens of minutes, the color of the aurora turned green. People just realized that this was a phenomenon related to the sky. In our time, according to calculations Carrington observed, solar storms caused by drug spots, it is at least 10 times more powerful than the attack on Quebec in 1989. At least 20 times what we experienced recently. He didn't do any harm. After all, he is just a performance. Just because there was no technological civilization as fragile as ours to attack and destroy. But this has nothing to do with the huge nuclear power plant we call the sun. Compared to the surprises brought by the ancestors of the era, simply not worth mentioning. You know, trees can tell us a lot. They talk to us mainly through tree trunks, providing valuable and timeless information, such as climate change trends, environmental health insights, even the mysteries of the universe. By studying the age of Scottish pine trunks found in France, an international team of scientists accidentally, traces of a massive solar storm that took place over 14,000 years ago have been discovered. This is the largest solar storm ever recorded. Researchers measured the radioactive hydrogen from ancient trees on the eroding banks of the Dreux River in the southern French Alps. Carbon levels enable this discovery. The results reveal an unprecedented amount of radioactive wind from 14,300 years ago. After comparing this radioactive probe value with measurements of skin elements found in Greenland ice cores, the research team speculated that this wind value was caused by a massive solar storm. is associated with the ejection of large numbers of high-capacity particles into the Earth's atmosphere. This world is 10 times as powerful and destructive as Carrington's world. Of course, we're in the realm of probability here. We are only just beginning to realize that the sun may bring us unexpected troubles in the future. But we still know very little about the sun's drug-like formation mechanism that could have devastating effects. Humans still have choices. When the next big storm hits us, the consequences will be different depending on the measures we take today. We can design satellites that are better able to withstand disciple storms. We can strengthen the electric grid. In particular, Quebec spent more than 1 billion yuan to strengthen the transformer after the power outage. Although electricity transmission providers in the United States have recently initiated this process, but their precautions appear to have been shot by weaker storms. Rather than events on the scale of 1859 or the Paleolithic. So yes, we also have a superstorm in our relationship with the sun. We were expecting that it might come tomorrow. But for now, we can only hope it doesn't happen for at least the next 100 years. This is the minimum time required to find solutions and countermeasures.